All right. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Francois Russ here with Carpe Datum. This is our second deep dive session, or I would say deeper dive session, looking at the latest platform of planning analytics, which some of you, I'm sure, have either explored via some demos here and there. Well, we want to give you our perspective on it, and we think it's an exciting new platform. It modernized quite a bit, and there's a lot more to come. So we decided to do a few sessions where we're going to position and present those new capabilities, and hopefully open up a discussion with you guys in the future on how we can help you modernize your planning analytics environment, or and help you leverage those new capabilities. Um, 2 weeks ago, we did what's new in PA Enhanced UI. We looked at the new UI, which inherited from the Cognos platform, and a lot of new visualization and new way to present your insights and data, a lot more flexibility. Today, we're going to be looking at the workflow capability. We can call it workflow, but you'll see there's a bit of nuances there. And we have three more sessions on the book. The next one will be exciting. We'll be demonstrating the forecasting capability, finally, which is now part of the latest release. And later on, we'll look at what's new in the planning analytics for Excel or PAX. And finally, a deeper dive into the administration piece of planning analytics, where there's a lot new features there as well. We'll also have a plan to put together some master classes by our senior architect and top leaders in our delivery team, and those will be available for you guys to attend as customers, or you can also refer friends if you want for $100, and they can attend for $100 those master classes. We'll be recording all of those, so if you're part of this distribution list, you should have access via John to the recording. If anybody has trouble seeing my screen, let me know. Just make a noise. So today we're going to look at we'll call it workflow for one last time. I don't personally think it's an exact workflow capability and a set of features, but it does, it gets closer to creating some collaborative environment within your assets in planning analytics. So there are um, two types of features that have been put together to help you assemble and group your assets together and organize them in a way that you can collaborate, and from that perspective create some kind of workflow. The first one is called application. So application allows you to group your assets by different sections, and it's totally flexible how you want to structure it. It really has no limitation. So you basically group them in it could be grouped by organizational structure or planning requirements or areas of planning of analysis, and then you can deploy this. Some of you will say, well, what's the advantage of doing that? Well, typically we put together a bunch of dashboards and workbooks and planning books, and we put them in folders, but sometimes they're not really intended for some kind of sequence access to them, even though they are interrelated to each other sometimes. So that's one way to put them all into what you can call an application. And I can see that as a benefit as you guys start putting together an application for a certain plan or certain areas of the business that you have a budgeting cycle going on. So you'd like to group them so that users can then focus on this application. Within the application, you can secure, of course, and that's also one advantage. So you can start securing who has access to them. The second part, which I think is the most interesting one, is the plan. You can group your assets in there, but by a step approach. So basically, it's a step number one. You enter your sales. Number two, you enter your marketing generation, lead generation. Number three, you can have supply chain put their own data in there, and you do it in a sequence so that users can be assigned in such sequence, and it gives you a sense of deploying in a contributor format, basically, for those who have implemented the older TM1 generation. You can also assign users or group of users. You can put due dates, and you can lock it and unlock it, if you're an administrator or if you're allowed to do it. So that part is the closest you get to the workflow. There's no at the current stage, there's no approval and rejection process, which I know was part of the older generation, and that's something I'm sure IBM is working on. It's not going to be really hard to do now that they have this foundation here. But right now, you can still lock it and unlock it. If you have contributed to the budget, you can lock it so that nobody else can touch it. And then by unlocking it, it's almost like you are either rejecting to tell the end user to enter new data or do any kind of edits. There's no restrictions on how you can group things together in both tiers, whether it's application or plan. Last slide is, a few other items I captured here is the plan administrator can create that type of workflow field. I said that already. The contributors can lock and submit their piece of the plan. Like I said, there's no approve and reject process yet, but I'm sure it's in the labs. And what I like is the last part here is any plan, any application can be converted to a plan, and a plan can be converted to an application. So that kind of gives you. Sometimes you start by grouping things together, and then finally you think you have a plan together. So you put them in sequence, and then you upgrade or migrate them into an application. Any question before we take a look? Comments, question? No? All right. So this is the welcome screen. For those who haven't seen the version at all, this is a new look and feel and branded look and feel of the new Planning Analytics release 5.7. And it's also, as you can see, it shows you your application in this welcome screen. So this demo system already has a few application and plans in here. They can be totally branded and customized at will. And as an administrator, I have access to all the other stuff here, but I'll show you later that I'm going to log in as an end user, and then all I can see are the applications or plans that I'm allowed to contribute to. So if I click on this one here as an administrator, this is a plan, and you can see, and I'll touch on all those features as we build a plan together. But you can see here that there are 4 steps in this sequence, and it's very simple. It's enter your marketing plan, your sales, FP&A can go in there and do some additional what if scenario and some forecasting to submit. And finally, there's an executive review and log plan in place. And for each of those steps, you can assign assets. Asset could either be a workbook, a book, a folder, anything that's published to the Planning Analytics workspace or portal. You can assign groups. You cannot assign a single user. At least I didn't see how. So if that's the need, you were going to have to make sure you create a group for that particular user. So right now it's limited to assign a group. Finally, you can put a due date so that when a user logs in, they can get a warning that they're past the due date. They got to contribute to the budget at this point. And not all of those steps may require a submission. So you can enable that or disable that at will. And automatically, you're going to see the progress based on who logged in and what level of activity has been performed against those steps. You can always reset that at any time as an administrator if you want to. So it's a very simple interface. There's also an announcement tab where anybody who logs in is going to see those messages, not only here, but also when they open up an asset, they're going to see the message. So that's one way to create some collaborative, dialogue between the owner of the budget and the contributors of the budget as well. So you can add those in here. And I'm sure IBM has plans to make this a lot more interactive in the future. Okay, so this is a plan. If I go back to my main screen here, let's see if I have an application. I don't. There is one here. So you see, this is an example of an application. So if I click this guy, there's only one asset. But if I want to, I could add to the application another asset, and it's going to look for whatever you want to add to this, and you could add it here and save it. and then it warns you that you should be refresh your permission, because once you bring an asset to your application, it needs to know who's allowed to see it, and then you can assign which group will be able to access this asset or this series of assets. So that's very simple. It's very similar to plan. It's almost confusing, but you see, this is the application part, allows you to group assets together. No real sequence to it. It's just a group of assets that you put together. And again, you can put announcement, same thing. And at some point, you can basically save as and change it into a plan, which means that those assets will now be sequenced with a due date, with all the other the other parameter that you saw earlier, and you can lock it or unlock it at will. Okay. If I go back to my application and plan and then log off, so if I log off here, let's say, actually, you know what? Let's create one from scratch. I didn't really have a script for this presentation today because it's pretty simple, but I'll just create a new plan from scratch as an administrator, and I'm going to call it demo plan. Okay, you can put some description here. You can put your own logo if you want to. Should be. There you go. Let's say just put the Carpe Datum logo, and I can put announcement, or I can start adding steps. So my first step here, I'm going to call it enter marketing budget, and I'm going to assign an asset, and I'll use this one here. Save this. I'm going to assign a group. You can create new groups if you're an administrator. I'll just give it to marketing here. And I know there's a few users in there. I'm going to put a due date of next Tuesday. Does it require submission? Yes. And I think that's it. I'm going to open it now that it's ready to go. I'm going to add another step. Enter demand, sales, assign assets. Whoops. Let me type demand here to search for an asset here. I'll pick this one. There you go. Assign a group, and I'm going to give it to the sales team. Put a due date. It's a holiday, so I'll put it 29. It has to be submitted. So you guys, you get the gist. Pretty simple. Add another step. I'm going to assign this one to the FP&A. There you go. This one here, I think, is good. And assign this to finance. Okay. And I put a due date of the 29. Requires submission, yes. And finally, add another step. The final step. And this one will be my executive dashboard right here. And this one is accessible by everybody. So let's just select everybody here. Hello. Okay, there you go. My mouse is. And this one it has to be submitted by the 30th. Doesn't require submission. And I'm going to open those two, ready to roll. You do need to refresh your permission once you did that to make sure that security is applied. If not, it'll just not going to work the way you expect it to. So now that this is done, I'm going to save as demo plan and click OK. Failed to save as demo plan. Okay, well, I'm not sure why, but typically, I guess it doesn't like. Okay. I may have used the word demo plan somewhere in the past. Okay, so I've got it right here. I'm actually going to reopen them. Once you save, they're closed by default. I think I'm going to apply new dates to this. I don't know what happened here, but it didn't save my settings. Okay, there you go. Okay, so if I go back home here and log off and log in as an end user, let's say Erica, which I know belongs to marketing. I'm going to see the plans that are available to me. So if I click on this guy, which was the first one that I started my demo with, you're going to see that Erica only has access to the marketing plan. And if she clicks on this, it's going to launch that asset. And it's just going to be a workbook at this point, with the difference that you have this pane here, which shows you the plan pane right here, which you can expand and collapse. And this will show you the announcement, any message that was put in there by either the administrator or anybody managing this plan. And you can then, you'll see the steps that you are assigned to. So if I start doing my plan, I'm not going to give you a planning analytics demo at this point, but you get the gist. You can, do your own, you do your own data, blah, blah, blah. Whoops, what did I do here? Let me see. I jumped off this. Okay. Sorry, I hit the tab key by mistake. Okay. So you can do all the any interaction that you want in there if you want to, and then once you're done, then you can hit this key here and submit and give a message, ready to go. And the submission is successful. So when the admin comes back in, he's going to see that this was submitted. The progress is going to be probably at 25% because there's four step in that sequence. Okay. If Erica logs off and I log back in as, let's say, Bob, which belongs to the sales team, then Bob's going to see that same plan, but he's going to see another, a different asset, right? Which is the sales plan demand here. So if you click on that as Bob, then he's going to have access to this workbook, and he'll be able to enter his sales plan and submit it and lock it the same way. Okay. So finally, if I log off and log back as the admin, and look at this plan, I should see, hopefully I did it right. There you go. So that submission 100% complete. Okay, so it is looking at the actual percent complete of the asset. They've had multiple assets. It would tell, for a step that it would give me a percentage of those that have been created. So you can see here, the progress of this plan, and I can keep going and add more steps if I want to and assign them to others. So that's pretty much it. It's very simple, but I think it's efficient in having a deployment strategy for a plan, and making sure that the end users are not overwhelmed by navigating into all those folders, and making sure they find the right book or workbook to work on when they are responsible for a slice of the budget, for example. Any question? I think I've toured every feature that I can think of here.
It's great stuff, Francois. Thank you. Yeah, we'll open up to any questions, comments, feedback.
Oh, there you go. Now I see my demo plan. For some reason, it wasn't showing up earlier. Any feedback? Is this something you guys would like to implement? That you see a need for it right now or in the future?
All right. Do you have everyone muted, or are they self-muted? I see one question. Let's see if I check.
I can't
All right.
see
Well,
it
if
here.
I don't see any comments. Christine.
Yeah, hi Francois. This is Christine from Big Mark. I was just wondering, we're still using the previous format or previous version of the of TM1.
Yeah,
So this is very new to us, but just thinking forward in terms of, let's say, we budget season, would this be something that we would publish for the GMs to input their budget data?
I think. I
Would
mean,
you?
I would recommend it. It's so simple to deploy, and you already have the assets, and they're probably all in two folders now. I think this would be a nice way to organize them and deploy it. You don't have to change anything in the way you don't have you don't have to re-architect or redevelop any assets that have been developed already. So I think so. Yeah, I think you guys have web sheets as well. And things that came from Excel. So it's the same. It's the same thing. This is just a way to group them together into an interface that everybody can access and
Right, right.
deploy it in
As
workflow.
opposed to publishing, doing a web publishing as well, right? As opposed to?
Well, you're probably going to still need to do the web publishing, but the difference is you're going to bring that web sheet into this via a workspace. So it's probably just one extra step that will need to be done to put them all into this plan. But you won't have to. You won't have to republish. It's already published out there, I assume. So you'll just have to bring it in here. When you assign asset, you're going to look for that web sheet for that that workspace that contains the web sheet, basically.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Christine. Yeah, I think the primary concept here is to really segregate the access and the steps necessary for groups or individuals in your organization. So if there are things they need to do that aren't necessarily even planning, it could be checking another system or ensure you talk to such and such a person, or validation steps. It kind of helps people who may forget, if they don't go through the process very frequently, to remember all the steps necessary and provide kind of checkpoints, as well as get visibility to where people are in that process if you're collectively trying to ensure everyone's following their part of the process, if that makes sense. Any other questions? All right.
That's good.
Well,
We had a
really
good
appreciate
attendance.
taking.
Thanks for attending, guys.
Yeah, and we'll this is recorded, so this is available. We can share this if there's others who would like to see this. So again, thanks for your time. Have a great rest of your day, and happy holidays.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Thank you.